Mike's Daily Podcast.
Episode 1538, 1538. I'm Mike Matthews, broadcasting from Café Anyway, located somewhere in Podcaster Valley, Vermont. What's this? It's a bag full of rabbit poop. Oh, that's interesting. Why would that be here at Café Anyway? Today, at the last place on Earth, we will discuss things, and Chely Shoehart, Floyd the Floorman, and John Deere the engineer stop by.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
It's a jovial look at the world today. That's our little intro.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Slogan thing. I think I was trying to remember a comedian's name, but that made me dismember every part of my brain because I couldn't think of her name. And now I think I'm going to do the same. Laura something. Laura Lump. That's her name.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Ah, crap, I'll look it up. But if you look it up on Bing, you get points. It's Laura
Mike's Daily
Lamp
Podcast. Yeah.
No. What's the okay, I'm just gonna do this. I'm gonna search the podcast called With Special Guest, and that's Lauren Lapkus. Oh my god, that was driving me nuts. Lauren Lapkus. It's just a name that does not stick in my brain. And not only that, look who just walked in. She looks like every other goofy, geeky, millennial, thin, kind of cute, kind of goofy, kind of, oh my god, what's she going to say next? She's going to say something crazy and outrageous is what she's going to do. Outrageousness. Look who walked in just now to make the show better. And look at other people.
Hello, Mike Matthews. It's Chely Shoehart, gift shop supervisor. Yeah, I'm not outrageous. I just tell it like it is.
And what are you saying?
People spend too much time on their smartphones just staring at them.
I know. They just stare at these little screens all the day. And they're at work. Oh, I had this question. So my health, I have to do this health thing to keep my insurance low. Even though, okay, remember in the days, okay, you probably don't remember. I don't even really remember. But
and here's today's podcast picture.
It's a picture of Basil the Boxer as we were walking over in Colombia. I was discussing this the other day, I think. Colombia is not the place that you have cocaine. It is the place in Castro Valley. It's kind of up at the end of this road. I think it's called Columbia Road. And there's all these houses. It's weird. There's just one little road. And it comes off over by Coal Canyon Park. And you go up this road and all of a sudden, houses upon houses up on top of this hill. And they got a great view of the bay, but they're way up there, and it's one road in and out, and that road often has deer running across it. So you often have, sadly, a deer carcass here and there, and it's often that happens. And then Alexa comes on and goes,
I want to be the computer from Star Trek.
I gotta replace that. It's not very good. I took that from a YouTube video, and the guy had the... I'm getting really sick of this on YouTube. Hi, guys! Please, if any video you start to watch or just starts to play... Actually, Facebook is not allowing so much of these viral videos anymore that just instantly play. In fact, I went into the settings in my Facebook to stop it's called auto roll or pre-roll, where it just starts playing and you didn't make it play, it just plays on its own. And you get these people going, hi guys, hey guys, or hey guys, or any of that, hey, anything where guys is used in the first two words of whatever segment. Kill it. Don't watch it. Give it a thumbs down on YouTube. Tell it to go away. It's thumbs angry. Give it an angry on Facebook. It's the worst thing ever, and I'm tired of them. These... I used to complain with my he's old now, millennial co-host, Haley, and I used to do this thing. He used to have a segment called...
The Daily Haley. The almost Daily Haley.
But he's busy with school now, so anyway.
Anyway.
Café Anyway. We used to discuss this Hey Guys thing, and I hate the jump cuts. Oh, that's another YouTube thing that everybody's doing when they do their little... They set up the camera. That's me making noise, trying to sound like I'm setting up my camera. And some people go, Mike, why don't you film when you're doing your podcast? Take your phone out and do like a Facebook Live. Hell no! Do I want to bore you with that? I put the done podcast up on Facebook so you can listen to it, and then I put the podcast picture there, which today is of Basil the Boxer in Columbia. At the top of Columbia, there is this wonderful what do you call it, park, and my brain's doing 8 things at once right now. I'm sorry. And it's so you're walking around up there, and there's horses.
Sorry.
That was pertaining to something I just said. And so there's 3 horses walking around, and I have posted a picture of Basil sniffing the horses sniffing. Their little noses are meeting, and they were sniffing each other. It was a cute picture. I posted that about a year ago. But this is one in that same general area, and you can have your dog off leash. It's really cool. Just don't mess with the horses. They stay closer to the other end where all the food is. And I've talked to the owner before, and the horses are like 30 years old already. It's crazy how old horses get. And then you walk to the end of this park at the top of Columbia. I don't know what the name of this park is called, but it's just at the top of Columbia. You have to go in between these 2 houses. You can find it on the East Bay Regional Park District map. And then at the end of this park, there is the East Bay Municipal Water District, East Bay thingy. And you can go on their land and walk. You're supposed to have your dog on leash, but and you will be cited, apparently, by the lice. Because somebody scratched out the po. So it doesn't say police anymore, it just says lice. And so be careful of getting cited by the lice. But the fact that there was nobody, the trail, as I was talking about last show, had only these deer hoof prints and possibly some mountain lion prints that I think maybe mountain lions. I still have yet to see one, although one just walked through the Café Anyway, but that's neither here nor there, up there. My. But yeah, that's at the top of Columbia. And you can walk there. That's the picture from that with Basil the Boxer. And this was from Tuesday. So that's a fun little trail you can do in the East Bay. There's so many trails. East Bay Regional Park District, the biggest regional park district in the country, possibly the world. Hey, back to Jumpcuts on YouTube. I can't stand them, and it's hard for me to explain what they are without showing you. I can't really show you. I can't play the audio because you won't really notice it. But it's just when you're visually watching someone talking to you, and all of a sudden, hey, it cuts. And wow, that you can obviously tell they jumped to a more interesting part of the tape of what was being videoed. And as I mentioned in a previous podcast, Morrissey recently did a YouTube video where he just talked to the camera. He did not start it with, hey guys. He just hit play, record, and talked to the camera, and was Morrissey. And there were no jump cuts involved, which I appreciated. So I'm anti-jump cuts. Stop it. Oh, by the way, today is the 18th of January. No big deal, but it is 11818, and that's kind of a neat thing. So I will call today's show 18, even though back when I was 18, and I won't play the Taylor Swift song, don't worry. Taylor Swift probably does a bunch of jump cuts, and I've heard her many times go, hey guys. So the point is, when I was 18, the world. I had already been in radio for about 4 months. I had started interning at a radio station, and back then it was just showing up once a week in the evening, and they didn't know what to do with me, so they go, hey, why don't you alphabetize these records? So there was a room full of all these records, and I alphabetized them, and I'm like, I love radio. Oh, this is going to go places for me. And then after about 6 months, they said, we don't like interns anymore. And the radio station told all their interns to go away. So I ended up going to Y97, which I talked about last show. And I ended up getting a job there and working overnights. And that station went through so many changes. It flipped formats so many times. We were a rock 40 for a while. A rock 40 was, we're going to play the rock, the hair band stuff that was popular at the time in the late 80s, early 90s. Oh, and we'll also throw in, let's see, Depeche Mode. It was alternative. It was that. And then I think we played Michael Bolton, too. Michael Bolton, the big ballad, bombastic ballad guy. And that was, we wouldn't play, though, like Luther Vandross, because it was a racist format. We wouldn't play Anita Baker, who was big at the time, or Michael Jackson. Yeah, it was a crappy format, and it was called pirate radio in Los Angeles. In Santa Barbara, we were just called the new Y97, something unimaginative. So that was an awful format. It just was the same. Okay, you can have a rock format, which we don't have really in the Bay Area. We have a classic rock format. We've got your alternative rock format. We've got like Live 105, which is now called Alt 105. And that's your alternative stuff. But there's still like rhythmic elements that get into those formats. It's that format that I worked for years ago, not so good. But then Y97 turned into, actually went from that to a very rhythmic station. So we were playing the bands in the early 90s, we were playing MC Hammer, woohoo, and his hit song. He may have had 2 or 3. That's Right, We Pray. He had that after Can't Touch This. Oh, and Have You Seen Her? He did a cover of that. At any rate, that's neither here nor there, over there, up there, anywhere, back there. Health insurance. My health insurance requires me to sign up with this program called Power of Vitality. And when you sign up with that, it basically, you link your Fitbit to it. So when you exercise, Power of Vitality sees that you exercise and that you're trying to stay healthy. And therefore, it keeps your health insurance, which used to be free through companies. When you used to work at a company that had benefits, you used to get free health insurance. And at least for the company I work for at the moment, there is no, that you still have to pay a certain amount per month. It's not free. But it is lower because I'm part of this Power of Vitality thing. But one of the things it asked me was if you get enough sleep, and that's important, definitely, I've found, and I'm trying to get at least 7 hours of sleep, even though I get up so early. But it also asked, how much time do you spend in front of a computer screen? And it made me think, there's just no way to answer that without saying, at least 5 hours. Because at work, you're in front of a computer screen the whole time. And then if you go home, when you go home, you might be watching the computer, as I did last night. I went on, and nowadays there's so many things that can grab your eyes. Like, I've got this thing through Windows that shows me pictures from a year ago, like that anniversary thing on Facebook that shows you stuff from a year, 2 year, 5. Now I've been on Facebook 9 years. It goes way back. And it shows you these memories, and you're looking at these pictures, and then I use some of those pictures for the podcast picture and go back in time, and it takes, next thing you look at the clock, an hour's gone by, and I've spent another hour in front of a screen. And kids, they've got their smartphone is their key. It used to be the car that was your key to freedom. Now, supposedly, Generation Zers don't want cars because it's all going to be on autonomous cars. They're all going to be driving themselves, and they won't really need to know how to drive. So their little smartphones are their keys to freedom and allows them to talk and send pictures of whatever to the ones they like. And they're on them constantly, and that's the way the world... And so we are... so it's becoming a screen world, and it is a screen generation. Generation Z will probably be called Generation Screen at some point, but no, that's not going to get coined because they now have Generation Z, and that seems to be the thing they're rolling with. But it is a screen generation. It's a screen world, and it's outrageous. And 18 is definitely, when I was 18, definitely different from when the people are the 18 today. Being 18 and walking around with their screens. 18 with a screen. And that's all I had to say today. So maybe people don't even notice jump cuts anymore because they're just staring at screens and their eyes are numb. But the point being is that there's so many gluten-free restaurants in the Bay Area. As I get this little newsletter from Yelp, and it asked me, "Are you down with gluten-free?" And I was, what? What's this thing called gluten? Whether by choice or necessity, many people have made the switch to a gluten-free lifestyle. Are you or your dining companion finding gluten-free the way to be? It's asking me. From bakeries to sit-down restaurants and fast casual dining, this week we bring you some of the East Bay's best gluten-free options. For example, Sanctuary Bistro, which is in Berkeley. Or Bagan. Or Mosley's Cafe. Rachel F. wrote, "The snickerdoodle is really unique, more like a cake than a cookie, and super satisfying. The banana bread was delicious too. Can't wait to try more stuff from them soon. Yay! Gluten-free." Now, Haley used to tell me about how gluten definitely is poison to a lot of people, and you can't really make fun of it, so I'll stop. But that was what I got from Yelp today. Hey, speaking of cool cafes, I'm going to be at Cafe Roomie today, going on a mic excursion with my only podcast listener, Sylvia. And okay, I think Kevin sometimes listens too. But I'm going to meet up with Sylvia today around 4. If you're in Podcaster Valley and want to meet up for a coffee and possibly gluten-free food. I don't know. It's not on me, though, because I'm poor. Because I got married and divorced. Oh, I got a really mean millennial friend who writes me last night, "Hey, are you in Oakland?" And I said, "No, why?" She goes, "There's a guy, your doppelganger is here." And I said, "Oh no, he's the evil Mike, kill him, ha ha ha." And she goes, "Oh, he just got in a car and drove away." And I go, "Oh, he's probably got a, better life than me." And she wrote back and said, "Oh no, he's divorced and lives with a boxer too." And I was just, what? Is that my life now? I'm divorced and live with a boxer. Hey, there could be worse things. The point is that there's all kinds of crazy stuff in the world. And Lauren Lapkus would probably do a better podcast and talk about all that crap. But you know what? This show isn't about her and her thin little millennial body. It's about a 4.1 quake that struck north of Santa Rosa. Has Santa Rosa been through a lot lately with fires and earthquakes? There's a shake and bake joke there somewhere. I'm not saying it. So I'm in the clear. A shallow magnitude 4.1 earthquake was reported Wednesday. Now, that's a little bit less than what we had in Podcastro Valley. An earthquake struck near Berkeley, near the that really nice restaurant, Claremont, the hotel. It was reported last night 2 miles from Castle Rock Springs, California. And in the last 10 days, there have been no earthquakes of magnitude 3.0 or greater centered nearby. Okay. Next, there was a ghost ship that washed up on Japan's coast. and it had the, sadly, skeletal remains of suspected North Koreans. They stopped short of confirming the vessel was from the Hermit Kingdom, officials believe. It is the first North Korean ghost ship in 2018 to reach the Japanese coast. And White House Chief of Staff John Kelly met up with Trump.
President Trump has long admired General John Kelly, not only for his heroics in the battlefield as a Marine Corps general, but also for his work at the Department of Homeland Security. So when he was looking for a new chief of staff to replace Reince Priebus at the White House, Kelly was an obvious candidate. He had a lot of internal support. He's not somebody who was identified with any particular faction inside the White House, but rather had widespread support. People felt like he would be a good leader.
He will be chief of staff, as you know. We all know.
Okay, that's from the Washington Post. Get this. He told Democratic lawmakers yesterday, this is Chief of Staff John Kelly, that some of the hardline immigration policies of President Trump...
Because you'd be in jail. Wrong. Because you'd be in jail. You are fake news. Fake news.
Calm down.
Fake news.
Calm down, Trump. Let me tell everybody what John F. Kelly said. John Kelly said that some of these hardline immigration policies that Trump advocated during the campaign were uninformed. That the United States will never construct a wall along its entire southern border. This is John Kelly saying this.
I would build a great wall, and nobody builds walls better than me, believe me. And I'll build them very inexpensively.
And that Mexico will never pay for it. John Kelly said this. Mexico will never pay for it, and I really wish a mariachi band would pop into Café Anyway really quick. Thank you! I cannot clap to that song very well. The comments were out of sync with remarks by Trump. Well, that's obviously, and I'm not going to go into the rest of this article because it's just dumb. But there you go. As we go outside of Café Anyway, we're bringing Mike's Daily Podcast somewhere in Podcaster Valley. I hope you enjoyed today's show. We learned a lot about Jumpcuts and 18 and health insurance and the world in which we live. And it was jovial, wasn't it? I felt it was happy.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
For being happy?
Are you out of your mind?
No.
What is the matter with you?
Nothing's wrong with me.
Something must be wrong with you.
No.
Is you blind?
No, I'm not blind. What is the hell matter with you people? I am not crazy.
I'm crazy, but I'm not crazy like that. You know what I mean?
I am normal. God, don't give me a complex. Jeez.
That's not how any of this works.
No.
It's time to stop, okay?
Right.
No more.
That's right, no more. That's the end of the show. Next show, it's going to be the wonderful... Oh, we didn't even say hi to Floyd and John Deere. Hi, Floyd the Floorman! And this is John Deere, the engineer.
Very funny.
I had a great time today listening to you. Good. Oh, yeah, it's going to be the wonderful Benita, the Disgruntled Fiddle Player, and the Brewmaster next. Did you get any emails, John Deere? No, not a one. Oh, man, that sucks. Yeah.
You got mail.
Oh, wait. I stand corrected.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at mikesdailypodcast.com. Email Mike now at mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye!